I initially debated on making this the intro to my next video, but I decided that it was too long of an introduction. I'm just going to make this its own short video to release instead. So this video is, as you can tell by the title, is in regards to Haunted Hill Farms, which is an animatronic distributor's art contest that they held a couple months ago. The winners were announced back in May, and I was the first place winner of the contest. Have her right here. But basically the rules for the contest was you had to create an original art piece. You could either create like a drawing or like anything. It didn't specify what kind of art. So this is what I made. As I've mentioned for my last video, I am a huge Monster High doll fan and a longtime collector. I've been collecting Monster High for over 12 years now. So this is my one-of-a-kind custom convulsing nurse doll, and she was 100% handmade by me. Alright, so I switched angles because, again, the reason this was a longer video is because I do want to do a detailed deep dive of the doll, because I have had people on Instagram ask me questions about her. So I'm just going to go into all the logistics of her, starting with her box. Her box is not a unique box at all. It was not created by me. It is actually a Monster High Annabelle's collector box. Now I had repurposed. I thought it would just be the perfect display for her, at least for now. And then as you can see, for the chains itself, I had, if I'm correct, bought at either Joann's before they closed, or I purchased them at Michael's. And then the gray square right there is just a small cutout of foam that I had painted gray. And then as you can see, her little hooks right there that attach to her stumps, those are created with air dry clay and were painted with nail polish because I had misplaced my gray metallic paint, so I just used nail polish instead. So this is her first aid kit. This is a replica scale of the one that was created back in 2013, because unfortunately with the re-release she did not come with a first aid kit. However, I have heard that the 2025 Convulsing Nurse by Haunted Hill Farm is compatible with the 2013 first aid kit, which is good to know. Unfortunately, I do not own this myself, but I was able to use a bunch of pictures on the internet to help me create this scale. This is the outside of the box. The first aid kit was created using just a small thin cardboard box, closer to a cardstock like material. I had used a box that had gummies in it because I liked how thin the cardboard was, yet it was sturdy enough for what I wanted, to which I created the outline of the box, and then I covered it in foam, which I painted white for the first aid kit, which I then paint the details. The inner door right here, these newspaper clippings, these photos, and the tape, this was all created by me. All of these were pictures that I edited. And then the tools right here, the little handle grips, are made out of that same air dry clay that I had used for the hooks on her stumps, just painted black. And then the metal pieces are made of paper clips, to which I bent in the shape of the tools. And then the little strap here that holds all the tools in place is just some regular black cotton fabric that I had hot glued. For the inside, this is some more foam right here. I painted brown to look more like the inside of the original first aid kit box. And then the face mask and then the fingers are air dry clay, which I all painted. And then these little metal pieces, again, are paper clips that I had just hot glued to the top of the box. And then again, the backing, as you can see, those little red things are the teeth. I try to resemble the pictures that were part of the inside of the original first aid kit box to the best of my ability. So again, that was all like custom photoshopped together by me. So this is my custom one-of-a-kind convulsing nurse doll that I created all by myself. Everything you see here again was made by me. So I think I am going to go from top to bottom basically. So her hat is made out of the same white cotton as her dress. I kind of just freehanded a pattern. I do not remember how I did it, but I did. I, however, could not figure out how to make one specifically for her head shape, so that is permanently affixed to her head with hot glue. The little design that matches the one on her original animatronic, that was hand painted by me. And then her hair right here. A lot of people in the Monster High community do reroots for dolls. However, I do not have the money or materials to do that. So these are yarn wefts that I had created, and basically she is wearing a wig, albeit it is permanently affixed to her head. So I styled it, and then I'm gonna move on to her face and body now. Alright, so starting with her head belongs to a Monster High Skull Shores Ghoulia doll that I had butchered years ago when I was a child trying to create a custom. So I decided to use that head for her. I had first removed all the factory paint with acetone, and then I went ahead and sealed it with Tester's doll coat. But anyways, I sprayed her down with that, and then I used white acrylic paint for her base. And then for the chips aren't paint, and I am going to say this with caution. Again, do not repeat what I did because you could hurt yourself and absolutely end up slicing one of your fingers or your hands. But I had used a box cutter after painting to create the cracks, which are actually cuts in the vinyl. Again, I do not recommend doing this at home, especially if you're a minor. Do not do this without adult supervision. But then the eyes are just black acrylic paint, and then the pieces in her head that kind of look like nails or screws, those again are just air dry clay pieces that I painted black, and then I glued onto the head. I think I used hot glue. I don't think I used super glue. And then for the body, her body belongs to an Ever After High Raven Queen doll. I do not remember which one, but yeah, her head is Monster High, her body is Ever After High, just because I wanted to give her some height, because I know Raven Queen is a taller doll. So I do plan on making her dress longer in the future. I don't like how her legs are showing right now, so I do plan on remaking the skirt. But however, for the dress, I had used just some cotton material I had lying around, and I used a pattern I had bought on Etsy just to create the base. And then I modified it for the sleeves, the collar, and then this piece right here. So I did that. All of these pieces were glued on instead of sewn because I thought it would look better that way, and I don't really intend on changing this doll. And then when I remake the skirt, I just plan on gluing it over the current one I have. The blood splatter across the dress is created from this fake blood that I had purchased at Party City before they had closed. It was very difficult to get it the right pattern, but I'm very satisfied how it turned out. And her little appliques right here were hand painted by me. And then her little arm nubs, what I had done was I had completely detached her arms at the elbow joint, and then from there I had created her nubs with more air dry clay, and I just painted over them. And her little bandage piece here is created from an actual bandage that I had, and then I just made it look dirty and worn with some pastels. So that is pretty much the rundown of my one-of-a-kind convulsing nurse doll. I do accept commissions for her. I've had some people ask me if you are interested in a convulsing nurse commission that looks almost identical to mine. Granted, she will not be the exact same as mine because there are some things that I do want to improve on and change. But again, if you're interested, message me on my Instagram. Do not message me here on YouTube or comment down below in regards to a commission. I will not accept that. I will redirect you to my Instagram because that is where I will do all my inquiries. But yeah, if you're interested in a commission, we can talk details there. I'll give you the rundown on pretty much the things that I will be changing and the cost. I will not be charging less than $175 for this doll just because after cost of materials and with my time and labor involved, she won't be cheap. The cheapest I am willing to go, again, after cost of my time and materials. If you're curious, I can do a rundown of that as well. But yeah, again, if you're interested, message me over on my Instagram, which is right there. I'll link it in my description too. Just say you're from YouTube and you're interested in the commission, and then we can go over everything. And yeah, again, this is the doll that I had won Haunted Hill Farms Halloween art contest with, and I will see you guys in the next video.